real. It's reality.
No, it's not. It's
TV.
just,
You guys want to see? It's saying. So while you sitting over here having fake fraudulent relationships with your ex, your kids ain't even happy about it. You sitting up here sitting like a darn fraud, bringing a different man onto the reunion every freaking year. I hope he's sitting behind you this year. That's the holy whore.
Ooh.
Since you want to keep calling my husband big boy.
Is Jamal coming? No, of course not.
Alright, thank y'all for tuning into the Daily Job Podcast. I'm your host, ItzmeKortni with a K. That was a lot that we just saw, but we're going to do like Andy said, put a pin in it, we're going to be back to that. Okay, so they had a lot going on, but in part one of the topics came up with colorism. And how this came about was they were recapping about the incident when Wendy went off on Ashley because Ashley showed up with her baby at the cabin and Wendy thought it was a girls' night. Now, I'm still trying to figure out how is this Ashley's problem, you know, because Ashley checked in with the host and got permission to bring her baby and Wendy didn't, you know, how they said, closed mouth don't get fed, you ain't asked. So I'm still trying to figure out how this is Ashley's problem. But nonetheless, Wendy went off on Ashley and she was yelling and she's like, people like you address me as Dr. Wendy and all this stuff. So Ashley described Wendy as babe and aggressive at that time. And so Wendy felt like, you know, with her being a darker complected African-American woman, that you can't use the word aggressive when describing her because of what come along, the consequences that come along with, you know, calling a darker complected woman aggressive. And so Andy asked, he was like, well, you know, how do you deal with that? Like, if, you know, you're acting in such a way, how should one, you know, handle that if they want to describe you? And she said, well, Andy, you know, there's a plethora of words in the dictionary. You know, so she basically alluded that you should use a different word when describing her, but I'm just trying to visualize this. I'm like, let me visualize this for a moment. How does this play out in real life? Like, in real life, in the real world, okay? That sounds good. Not that I don't agree with Wendy, that sounds good. Let's use a different word, but how does that actually play out, okay? I'm Ashley. Wendy, you're people like you yelling and doing all this, address me as Dr. Wendy. And I'm Ashley, I want to respond. I'm like, you know what, Wendy, I think you're acting very... One moment while I check my thesaurus for a synonym. Alexa, what's another word for aggressive? Hostile? Oh, Wendy, you're acting very hostile. I'm just trying to figure out, like, how does that even make the situation better? Does that change anything? Because there's not too many synonyms that sound better or, you know, change the meaning of aggressive. I mean, everything that's a synonym for aggressive, like hostile, it still has the same underlying meaning behind it. So I'm not really quite understanding how that works. And, you know, again, I definitely believe colorism is real, okay? I'm not sure if I had already mentioned that, but I believe colorism is real. I'm just not sure that this moment was an example of colorism. I am an offspring of 2 chocolate drops, so I definitely know, you know, my mommy and my daddy both are chocolate. So I know what colorism is. The movie Dreamgirls, to me, is a better example. That storyline, if you look at the character Neffy, played by Jennifer Hudson. I think her name was Neffy, played by Neffy or Effie, one of them. Anyways, the character played by Jennifer Hudson. And compare her role to the character played by Beyonce. That storyline of Dreamgirls is a direct reflection of colorism, in my opinion. But I don't know what y'all think, you know, in this moment when Wendy was doing all this to Ashley, and Ashley described her as aggressive because that's how she perceived her, as acting aggressive in that moment. Is that the definition of colorism, describing someone for how you perceive their behavior to be? I personally don't think it is, but I'm curious to know what everybody else thinks. I think, you know, I think the easier way to fix this issue is, how about let's just change the actions, and consequently the narrative and the words that go along to describe the actions will automatically change. That it seems easier for you to just do things differently then for me to sit down and go through the darn, who uses a thesaurus anyways? But for me to sit down and have to scratch my brain and think, what's another word for aggressive that won't make her fall into a stereotype? Or, to be perceived as colorism. So what y'all think on that? So y'all know Candace is good for always crying. We know Candace is literally the girl that cried wolf. And in the beginning, I used to be like all the way with her. Like when she would cry, I used to get moved by her tears. I was like, oh, actually feeling sorry for her a little bit. But then now she cries so much that my mind get distracted when she cries. Like, how they say, how many licks does it take to get to the center of the Tootsie Roll? Like, in my mind, when Candace start crying, I be like, how many napkins is it going to take to clear this up? Because I know she going to have them Kleenex. She always, in every confessional, look like she popping in a contact lens. She always have the tissue, and she used so many. I just. But this time, we caught her slipping. I couldn't believe it. When Candace started crying, I believe it was the part 3 of the reunion. Candace started crying, and I'm telling you, every time she cried, I get distracted. I just be waiting for the tissue. And I watched her walk, because she was like, I can't. I just can't. And she gets up and she walks out. And when she walks out, the whole time I'm like, wait for it. I'm like, okay, I know she don't have a purse on her, but I just thought she had it in a brush. How we use this as storage sometime. I was like, yeah, she about to pull it out. No, she did the whole walk, got into the makeup chair. She never had the Kleenex tissue. I was like, oh my goodness, we caught Candy Girl slipping. She didn't have her tissue on her. I just couldn't believe it. But I sure hope Kleenex contact her, because you know how Tiffany Haddish was going around talking about Groupon. Like she literally was telling this story about her and Will Smith and Jada taking them on a Groupon and stuff. And she ended up being a spokesperson for Groupon. Well, Candace used so much tissue, I don't know what brand it is, but Kleenex, somebody should pick her up. I mean, she is going to school for MBA, so who knows, maybe she'll start her own Kleenex line, her own tissue line, because the girl always got the tissues, except for this one time. I can't believe we caught her slipping. But anyways, while we're on Candace, is it just me, or do anybody else feel like Candace kind of remind you of that person that ride around on their brakes? That person that's always hitting the brakes, waiting for somebody to rear end them. Like, they just make a living off of lawsuits. Like, that's just what they do. Like, I don't knock anybody hustles. You get your money how you can. I choose to hustle differently, but I don't knock you for how you do you. But that's what Candace remind me of. It's like she always waiting for that damn accent, just hitting on them brakes with her mouth and the stuff that come out her mouth. Because every time Candace talks, she says some fighting words. Or she just always says some fighting words. Like when her husband and Michael was getting into it, Candace starts yelling at Michael.
Do you want to touch me, Michael? I'll dare your ass.
Why is this girl doing this? Why'd you do this? And you don't want to fight, so it leads me to think, if you don't want to fight back, but you always, enticing somebody to put their hands on you, that you must want to sue. Like, this gotta be your avenue. You must want to sue, because I don't know anybody that just want to get beat on for no reason, Boxers get in the ring to get paid. Even the WWF, it wasn't real, but they got paid. So all I could think of, she likes to ask people to hit her, drag me, and get dragged so she could get paid. That's just... Hey, I don't knock your hustle. I wouldn't do it. I like my face. I don't want to be getting hit. So that wouldn't be for me, because sometimes they may do like Michael and ignore what come out of your mouth. But then sometimes you may meet another Monique and you ask to get dragged and you get dragged. So, yeah, I use my words consciously. I'm not going to say what I don't mean. That's just me. But while we on what comes out of her mouth, like on a serious note, I really hope somebody that's in Candace's corner really talk to her. I hope her husband, Chris, talks to her for real. I know he didn't like when Michael tapped him on the shoulder to tell him to talk to his wife. But somebody that love her really need to talk to her, because the things that come out of her mouth are very, very disturbing. nonetheless. Like, to find out that she told Karen, I hope you burn in eternal hell. And then even aside of what she told Karen, there's this blogger, Kyle Taylor. And he blogs and he's open about his medical condition before he passed. And he talked about he was on dialysis and everything. And he blogged about the Housewives, you know, the same way like I blog, I remember about. And Candace didn't agree with what he said. She gets on her Instagram live and she wished him dead. She wished he died. And the man actually died. And what's hypocritical to me is the fact that when somebody else say or do something, Candace wants to hold them accountable to a whole nother level, and she demands an apology.
Income, Roach. Do you want to apologize now?
Apologize for what?
Candace, when you get on the Twitter, your hands are possessed by the Tasmanian devil.
She has yet to issue a statement or apology or anything to this man's family, or to, you know, on the behalf of her words of wishing this man died, and he actually died. So yeah, just on a serious note, I really hope somebody talks to her and help her out with, you know, using her words for good instead of using her words the way she do. So why are we talking about hustling? Because I don't knock nobody hustle, baby. I don't knock your hustle. We know Giselle is messy. And that's her hustle. Giselle stirred the pot. She been doing it since she been on the show, since the beginning. And it is what it is. You know, that's just how it is. But this new hustle of her storyline, including bodyguards, and I know they not for free. I'm like, now hold up, Giselle. Let's just take a pause now. You mean to tell me you told us on the reunion that the west wing of your house is not complete, but you up here paying people to be your bodyguard and they know what near you? The man's so far away from you, and there's one man that's in the corner at the reunion, just like it was one man at Karen's house. I'm like, what is this one person gonna do that the production crew, whole production team, what can this one man do that this whole team can't do for you, okay? Like, let's use your money better, okay? Finish your house, and then if you want to be extra for your storyline, pay for a security guard, go ahead and do that. But to be paying somebody to be so darn far away from you, and your house ain't finished, just kind of reminds me of, you know, people who in their house burning candles, the lights not on. You gotta open up the oven for the heater, but you dress nice, like you sitting in there lighting candles in your brand new Jordans. That's what that kind of remind me of. Giselle is a part of Girl Chat, so she got extra income coming in, you know, because she's on another show in addition to the Real Housewives of Potomac. So hopefully with that extra check, she can, you know, stop paying for security guards and complete that west wing of her house. That would be nice to see the next season.
Her boyfriend is slinging his big D all around his congregation, even in Atlanta as we speak, and you know it. You know it. You're a fraud.
Any reaction to this?
Of course she doesn't have a reaction because she knows it's true.
Whew, baby, when she got red like that, I didn't have a moment to feel sorry for her as much as I was just like, damn. Now, you know who I felt sorry for? Who I really felt sorry for in the moment as Giselle was getting red. I felt so sorry for, you know, Batman and Giselle's sidekick, Robin. I really did. Because Robin is like the most loyal best friend anybody could ever ask for. I felt like for Robin trying to be that friend, you know, when they went behind the scenes and she had to talk to him, Robin's like, she just had to book him. Like that moment kind of reminded me of that friend that's trying to make you feel like it wasn't as bad as it actually was. Like, you know, like a friend just, you know, got slapped and they got a big bruise or something, like eye all swollen, and they're like, how do I look? And you're like, it's not that bad, girl, you know, nothing makeup can't fix. it's not that bad. That's kind of how I felt when we saw Robin behind the scenes trying to talk to Giselle, trying to clean it up like it wasn't that bad. But baby, it was bad. It was bad. Everybody was quiet, okay? Everybody was like, damn. Even Candace was like, oh, well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, that's just fine.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
And Robin could do to save her. So I felt bad for her. I felt bad for Robin because you could see Robin getting all red like she wanted to help her, but it was you just couldn't save her because Monique just kept going. Every time Robin tried to interject and say something, or Candace make some kind of comment or say something, she just go on. She's like, and I'll read it. Oh, what? You don't believe this is him? Well, I got the phone number. Let me go ahead and read it. Is this his number? 40, and I'm like, oh, Giselle. Oh, even Andy couldn't pick up his bottom lip. I was like, damn, she just shut Monique to shut Andy up. Oh my goodness. Whoo, I mean, it was nothing. It was no coming back from that. The best thing that saved it was that, we went on to part 2 and had fresh start. Cause that was embarrassing. That was all, oh my goodness. And the best red reward goes to Monique. And, or maybe it'd even go to Karen, because Karen did kick it off.
The word on the street is that you and Jamal have, made an arrangement that he would save your job, basically, by pretending that you all are together. I don't want to talk about it, but I do want to know the truth. Is your relationship real with Jamal, or is it true that he has, and as your father said, just recently had another baby with another woman while he was dating you? Is that actually he said 6 or 7 babies, mamas, and the 7th baby allegedly is the new baby.
And the best red reward goes to, round of applause for Karen. Karen, okay, she read Giselle the whole time, and the best supporting red person goes to, I'm sorry, Robin, usually you are the best sidekick, but this time it's gonna have to go to Monique. For having them receipts in his binder, okay? Monique took her time, she did her stuff, and whew, that was some hot tea. What we won't see next season is one of the housewives. And I'm a little disappointed because I actually think that they have a pretty diverse group of ladies. Overall, I like the cast. And we're gonna see how it'll be missing one of them. So rumor has it that Monique is not returning. But then Candace also did an interview with one of the blogs that said that if Monique does return, that she will not be there. So it's going to be interesting to see how things go. But I just want to ask y'all a question. Because I was, I really like Juan and Robin. But I'm just trying to completely figure them out because she took me for a loop when Robin had admitted and said that her and Juan go 50-50 on the bills. So I was like, wait a minute, y'all go 50-50. So does that make Robin a housewife or a roommate? Y'all answer that in the comments and let me know what y'all think. Is Robin a housewife or a roommate? And since we're going to be losing a housewife, they're going to need a new one. How do y'all feel about Andy coming on and being the next housewife? I mean, Andy could be like, how Kim was on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. He had that one little creamer in the coffee. That could be Andy. Because, Andy, he has a child. He has a lover. So he has a... Well, actually, I'm not 100% sure if they're still together or not. But, that would be interesting to see his story and stuff. Because Andy Shaw was sitting up there hosting but acting like a housewife. Because, in my opinion, the host is supposed to be neutral. You're supposed to just be hosting the event and remaining neutral. Andy was not neutral, okay? Andy sometimes was up there questioning Monique like he was an attorney. He was the darn prosecutor cross-examining the girl. It was like, yeah, but what does this check do for you? You're like, oh, yeah, but your husband, he's not still bringing in that income. Oh, Like,
But he's not still bringing in that kind of money. He was.
No,
bringing
he
in-
still is. My husband's done well. His investment portfolio is great.
Got it. What about?
he was definitely, it was no question on where he stood with Monique and Candace, like where Andy drew the line at. It was no question. He was not a neutral host. He was very biased, so I think he would make a great housewife. I would love to see Andy on the show. What y'all think? Anyways, thank you guys for listening and tuning in to me. I'm definitely going to be vlogging some more. I've just started watching Disney Plus, The Mandalorian. So I'm going to be doing a review about the first episode. Yes, they're on the season finale. They finished the season and I'm just starting. So I'm going to be blogging about that. And if you're interested in hearing if I'm going to keep watching it or not, just look out for that next video. Alright, well, thanks again, guys, for tuning in to Daily Drop Podcast. I'm your host, ItzmeKortni with the K. Bye, guys.